Oh boy, I got a bone to pick with collectors. I am so tired of hearing about the NES Classic Mini, especially from collectors. All right, I've been kind of mulling over the thoughts and things and feelings about the NES Classic Mini, and I've been kind of figuring out a way to best convey how I feel about people buying into this NES Classic Mini and collecting it or buying it, the absurd prices, the whole 9 yards, everything and anything about it. First off, I want to say, again, these are my opinions. This is how I personally feel. I don't, if you feel differently, that's fine. But I wanted to create a dialogue so that I could understand people who, I guess, feel differently than me, and if you do, why. And, that's the whole part of agreeing and disagreeing with somebody, is you kind of need that dialogue. You need that verbatim to be able to go back and forth with somebody on how you feel. So that way, you can kind of get the gist of it. So here we go. The NES Classic Mini is not for collectors. It's not. It's not. It is not for you. If you are a hardcore video game collector, retro game enthusiast, this game system thing, NES Classic Mini, is not for you. The reason I say that is, well, take a look at your collection, all right? Now, the games that they've picked for this NES Classic Mini are not Little Samsons, they're not Bucky O'Hare's, they're not Bubble Bath Babes, they're not stupid stadium events. They aren't these games. What they are is games like Ninja Gaiden, games like Castlevania, games like Mega Man 2, games like Mario 3, and granted, they are in HD. They do have that going for them. Plug in with an HDMI cable and everything, so you got the high resolution. But if you are a collector, a few things. One, you probably have a Wii, a Wii U, a 3DS. They have all of these games on those systems, for the most part, if not more. Actually, way more. So, I'm almost positive that you won't get as good of a value. So if you are a retro game enthusiast and you don't own an NES with all of these games already, I don't know. Why? I guess is my major question. If you're a retro game enthusiast and you're a collector, a video game collector, you probably have an NES. I've got two myself. I've got a top loader and I've got a regular, toaster NES. I've got probably about 90 games or so for the NES, 80, 90 games. I don't collect everything. I've never been about that. I've never been the type of collector that's been like, I want to collect all the games. I don't care. I don't want Madden. I don't want stadium events. I don't want Bubble Bath Babes and all these ridiculous games. I don't collect to collect. I collect to play. So, bearing that in mind, I'm probably not going to get a lot of hate from the straight-up collectors. The collectors, the hoarders, the people who buy 6 copies of one game just to have it in their collection and to hoard it just because it's rare. Selling 6 copies of a single game, or hoarding a copy of 6 games, all the same title, whatever. The thing that I'm interested in knowing is why someone who has all these games, probably has a CRT, or if not, they have a FrameMeister, or some sort of conversion process to be able to play these games using a retro system on a newer TV. So if you've got these games already, to give you an example, I own Mega Man 3 like 5 times over. I have it on the NES loose. I have it on the 3DS on the Virtual Console. I had it on the Wii, and now I have it on the Wii U Virtual Console as well. I also have the Mega Man Anniversary Collection, which has the game on there as well. So it's one of my favorite games of all time, but I own it multiple different ways. Same thing with like Castlevania 2, another one of my favorites. Own it multiple different ways. Wii, Wii U, NES, collections, any collections that have been out there, I can't think off the top of my head. But the bottom line is, the point I'm trying to make is, I own these games like 3-4 times over, a lot of them, in digital versions. So I have multiple ways to play them. On HD, non-HD, doesn't really matter, I have a way to play them. These games that are coming out on the NES Classic Mini, for the system, even to collect it or even to buy it, it was not made for collectors. It was made for people who wanted to get into old school Nintendo games that have never really been into it, young kids, kids now growing up that didn't have the NES Classic, system, the original NES. It was also created, in my opinion, for people who wanted to get something that brought them back to that nostalgic feeling. All right, so it was made for casuals, basically. Probably, most likely, people who are like, the PS4, Xbox One, Call of Duty, bro dude gamers. Hi, kitty. The bro dude gamers that basically wanted to release, they wanted to buy something that would remind them of their childhood without the insane prices of today's games. They just wanted to play the games. So that's really it. Those are the people that bought the games. Hey, really, dude? Come on. So with that in mind, why purchase the NES Classic Mini? A lot of people have said, well, it's because Nintendo's recognizing us. What, you as a retro gamer? They've been recognizing you for years. All the re-releases, the constant re-releases and rehashes and reboots and, sequel after sequel of the same series over and over, the same IPs coming out over and over again. And don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of these franchises. I'm a huge fan. But at the same time, I'm realistic in my expectations that I don't need to collect a system like that is more or less just something to put on your shelf or hack. That's a whole nother side of the spectrum where people are buying this thing to hack it, to put more games on it. And I guess that makes sense. I mean, for the most part, I get it. But there's also alternatives you can get that are way cheaper that you can store even more content on, like these RetroPies that are coming out. So to me, the NES Classic is not worth the money that people are paying for it. Even the retail price, in my opinion, is ridiculous. I wouldn't pay $60 for that. I think that it's, I don't want to say a waste, but I feel like it's taking it out of the hands of somebody who really would enjoy it versus me just kind of throwing it on my shelf and occasionally playing it. I don't see a reason in doing that as a collector. So I'm curious, since I'm probably going to get flamed for this, just because, everyone is not, I'm sure, not a fan of me basically calling them out, saying that it's greedy to buy this NES Classic Mini. But I'm curious what you guys have to say about this topic. Please keep it constructive, keep it critical, and keep it respectful. And leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think. Did you buy the NES Classic Mini? Why did you buy the NES Classic Mini? And do you feel that it was a waste of money? Do you feel that you got your money's worth? And that's about it. One other thing I wanted to touch on before I go, and this also infuriates me. I am now seeing that there are people that are doing kind of like the comics code, where they have like for comic books, the plastic, hard plastic, and they grade it and everything. I think it's called the CGC. They have something like that now, I guess, for video games, and that's pretty infuriating to me as well, because now you've got all these people that are bringing the NES Classic Mini. I've seen pictures of people bringing the NES Classic Mini to these places or sending them out, and they're getting these graded based on authenticity and mintness and all that stuff. And it's just so overblown, so ridiculous. Here we have this $60 thing that You know, Nintendo probably didn't make enough because they didn't expect collectors to go after this, because they figured collectors have 5 other ways to play these freaking games. So why would they buy this? Why? Just to get recognition from Nintendo? They're a company. They just want your money. And, you know, I'm happy to give them my money for these games if I have a reason to. But literally to play games, very popular games that are granted very good games, and I think the selection is very good. But I just kind of feel like it's a bit of a waste. It's like throwing money away, you know what I mean? So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'm curious. And again, keep it constructive, keep it critical, and keep it respectful. Like the video if you liked it, and you know, subscribe if you want more rants. That is going to do it from me and Zelda. Stay tuned, more rants on the way from youtube.com/Dongold.